Welcome to Sehtar. My name is Venkdesh. I'm an author and a therapist. Our topic today is presentation skills. When we are talking about presentation skills, these are skills that will come in very handy for you when you are actually presenting something to an audience, which could be small, few people, or even a large audience, like 100 or more than 100 people. So these skills are fundamental to make a good impression, to communicate with people with influence, with a tone of authority, with clarity, with something that will really reach out with efficiency, and something that will actually touch the hearts and minds of people listening to you. These skills are kind of the base, the fundamental stuff that you need to really kickstart your career and also enjoy success in your career over a long period of time. Sustained success is possible if and only if you are able to communicate in a nice way, in a way that resonates with people. And that is like the most important fundamental skill you will ever need in your life, not just your job or career, but in your life. So one of the most important aspects when it comes to communication is presentation skills. With presentation, what you're doing is more or less you're sharing something with people, and you're sharing it in a way that they are actually receiving more and you are actually giving more information. And therefore, it is really not a 50-50 conversation in which the audience can have a say and you also have a say. It's not like a two people talking to each other conversation. It's more of a one-to-many, and it can also be in such a way that you are actually coming from a position of experience or authority and presenting something of which sometimes the audience may not know more, and they will have to learn more from what you're saying. And therefore, you'll have to take an extra step to really delve into as much details as needed, however, not too much so that it will kind of distract the audience. So you need to kind of like strike a balance between the two. So there are many aspects like this which we will cover in today's session, and more in upcoming videos all about communications, and particularly about presentation skills, which is a very, very important topic. And it will really help you to make a good impression, which is really vital when it comes to your interview skills, when it comes to meeting with a team of people with whom you want to have a conversation and impress them and convince them to take a particular course of action, because it is regarding your project work, or because it is regarding your deliverables that you may have, or it is because it is an assignment and you are working together as a group, and therefore you want to have that synergy and you want to enjoy that cooperation. And that is possible when you are able to have a good relationship with them and communicate with them and convince them where necessary. So already we have covered few important points which you may have noticed as we gathered along and we moved along during the past few minutes. So yes, we have covered some of the important points like relationship, like convincing, like influencing, like rapport, like synergy. So these are all some of the important things when you are really making a good presentation, and you actually want to move from good to great. You want to move from making a presentation to actually making a high impact presentation. So that's the difference. Like when you're really able to build that relationship, when you're able to nurture that relationship, when you're able to say smoothly, easily, and touch the hearts and minds of your audience. So that is what is going to make the difference between a normal presentation or a not so good presentation on one side to a very high impact presentation very, very successful and very impressive presentation. So an important aspect when it comes to making a good presentation is actually a narrative. What is the narrative? What are you actually saying to the audience, and how do you want to say it? Because it's not just about what you say, but how you are saying it, how you have packaged it, like what you say first, what you say in the middle, what you say towards the end, and then how you engage with the audience. So these are all very, very important things, and you need to plan one by one each part of your presentation. And sometimes plans are good, but on the go you will have to be able to spontaneously change as needed. So this comes by experience and preparation. So the more you are engaged in constant communication with a group of people, it comes a lot more easier, and with experience it becomes much more easier. So during your years in the college, what you can do is, starting from a very first year, make use of all the opportunities available for you to communicate and learn on how you want to say things. Because often when you're listening to communications from somebody at a distance, from somebody who is actually talking about a topic and you are probably not well aware of it, then what goes into your ears may not always be exactly the same thing that was the intent of the communication. So the one most important thing that you need to know is, when people are listening, they're actually hearing. Are they listening is a big question. So what they hear and what you want them to listen, there may be some gaps. So you need to identify what is the thing that you can do so that you can actually say a story. You can build a story on the topic, and then you say it in a way that you bring in that engagement with your audience. We will be looking at this aspect in more detail in one of the coming videos. And for today's session, it's just in beginning and introduction, so I'm touching upon all the key aspects, and we'll build upon one by one in upcoming videos, all about presentation skills in particular, and overall general communication skills. So when it comes to communication, like I said, here are all the important things, like what's the narrative, how are you packaging it, and what is your story, how are you narrating their story. The storytelling aspect is what goes first, what comes next, what's in the middle, what is the sequence, and how do you want to shift it if necessary. Building rapport with your audience and making sure that they really understand what you're saying and they are really engaged with the topic and yourself. What's the difference between hearing and listening? Are they actually tuned in, and are they listening? And that's going to be possible when you are able to touch the hearts and minds. So these are all the important aspects, and one of the first thing, and probably it is also something that will really need a lot more preparation, is how you actually end the session. On not many occasions, people plan so much for the beginning, the first part, but they kind of ignore and let go of the last part. But really the key is how you end the session, and therefore really plan well on how you want to engage with the audience and end the session. So do you want them to ask questions? Do you want to keep it interactive? And what's the story that you're saying? And what's the final summary in 2 or 3 bullet points? What is it that will stick with them after nearly half an hour or 45 minutes or an hour of your session? What will they remember? So the ending of the session is very, very important, and begin with the end in mind, like Stephen Covey said it. So really remember what you want them to carry away, what's the story, and summarize it in a nice way, in a way that sits with them and can resonate with them, and you can touch the hearts and minds of your audience. That is the key for very high impact presentation. So here is all that you have to do. When you reach towards the end, do make sure that you are able to summarize the points, but don't necessarily repeat the exact words, but try and bring them into key points, or bring in something that is really relevant for the audience, which they can easily relate to. Like for example, it could be in the same field, or it could be in the same area, or it could be in the same age group, based on your demographics, based on your preference, based on their experience, based on their expertise, based on their specialization. Pick the one that will resonate the most, or pick a combination, but don't dilute the topic, don't dilute and go too far away. because you are reaching the end. Therefore, you'll have to bring in the focus, not expand unnecessarily. And that's how you kind of package it and move towards the end in a way that will tell the story, summarize it in a way that resonates with them, and they can easily remember and carry away after the session. So focus on all of these things, and then yes, you can deliver a fantastic presentation. So those are all some of the important things when it comes to making a high impact presentation, and we'll cover more in some of the upcoming videos all about presentation skills and influential presentations. Until then, wishing you the very best in your life and career. Gear up for success and victory. Wishing you a very healthy, wealthy, and a happy life. See you.